I'll say this right now, as long as Bach has at least 1 or 2 more tricks up his sleeve and he's not completely finished after this chapter was absolutely phenomenal, amazing. I loved it. I felt that it just hit every chord that it should have, and it was an absolute mindfuck. Honestly, it was an absolute, like, what the fuck is going on? Who is really who? Aizen just trolled the living shit out of not only Yhwach, Yhwach, but he also trolled the fuck out of us, because you think this is one character, but then if you really analyze it and look, you gotta think, wait, no, so that's him and this is him, and it really fucked with my mind in a very, very fucking awesome way. So for starters, the beginning of the chapter, Yhwach asked the same question that a lot of us were asking: why the fuck you ain't heal yourself, Ichigo? Which kind of makes sense. He was just rushing over there. It's like, yo, we don't got no time for that, and Orihime's half dead as it is, so let me just get my ass over there. Which still is kind of like, you could take a couple seconds just to heal. Aizen had that shit on pack, but then again, I don't think he knew about Aizen being there and ready, so he kind of just thought, if I don't get over there, this motherfucker's gonna wipe out the Soul Society and shit, so let me get my ass over there. So that kind of makes up for that question that a lot of us had, like, Ichigo, why would you go all battered and bruised to a fight with a god after you just got your ass kicked, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of the events in this chapter as well, at first makes you think, wait, what in the fuck? And honestly, limbs flying left and right, Renji losing a limb and shit like that. I'm puzzled, because the whole chapter was just honestly a mindfuck. First, Renji jumping in and losing his army, you think, damn, Renji got fucked, which rightfully so, because it's Renji or whatever. And then with Aizen jumping in front and everything, it's just like, what is going on? You know, you just puzzled, like, when the fuck would Aizen do that? And even Bach is kind of like puzzled, like, you would really do that? When the fuck would you do that? Why would you even give a fuck, huh? And then the Kitos. Honestly, a lot of people complain that we don't get to see the Kitos enough, and to see Aizen use that Dragon Kito, the Hado 99 and shit like that, absolutely epic. Honestly, this battle in this chapter, I wish that this was drawn out amongst a few different chapters, because this was just really good shit. It was very fast paced, but it was really fucking good shit. It was like, Kubo was like, alright, I had all these plans, I'm gonna try my best to squeeze it all in there, and for it being very fast paced, it was very fucking awesome. So again, in the beginning of the chapter, when Renji jumps in and he loses an arm, you're like, okay, so Renji got fucked or whatever, and then, you know, Aizen jumping in with the save or whatever, and you're just thinking to yourself, well, this is odd. But then when Ichigo jumps in, and you see Ichigo is missing a limb, you start thinking to yourself, wait a minute, when the fuck did Ichigo lose an arm? I even went back to the previous chapter to make sure I wasn't missing nothing. Ichigo never lost a limb. So at first I'm thinking, okay, did I miss something? Like, did Ichigo lose a limb off screen or some shit like that? But then I started thinking, oh yeah, Aizen has that ability. I forgot about that, his Shikai ability. So in a sense, Renji getting wrecked was all an illusion. A lot of this shit just makes me just absolutely puzzled, because at the end, when Aizen reveals the big thing that, oh, that's not Ichigo, it's me, and you see Aizen's missing a limb, so he was faking that he was Renji first. The entire time that we thought that that was Renji or whatever, that was Aizen, because he got his arm cut off. The only person, if I'm correct in this chapter, that got their arm cut off was actually Renji, and a lot of these things were illusion, because then you jump and you see Ichigo missing a limb. It's like, what the fuck is going on? So I believe everyone that was missing a limb in the chapter, again, I could be mistaken, whatever, was actually Aizen using his illusions to pretend to be that person. And I mean, just the crazy fucking plan with Aizen being there. Oh, like, I really wanted the line, and I don't know if in a different translation it might say or whatever, so what puts you under the illusion that this entire time this was, you know, this character, whatever. I wanted that exact line. We didn't get it, whatever. But when Aizen is just standing there, impaled, missing a limb, and Ichigo comes from behind with the slash, whatever, and you see Ichigo has both of his limbs, which I'm guessing, again, that Renji has both his limbs as well. The only person that, again, lost their limb was Aizen or whatever. And again, it makes me think, like, how the fuck? Like, okay, one of the complaints that I see everybody saying, and this is the only thing that I'll say, is that it needs to continue. This fight can't be over just yet, simply because with Bach's almighty power that he could see the future and all this shit, he should have been able to see this coming. Even if he was mind-fucked by the Shikai of Aizen, he still should have seen some of this coming. So that's the only thing, is like, the fight should continue. This should not be the end of Bach, and if that's the case, then this chapter was absolutely phenomenal. Seeing Aizen working together with Ichigo and Renji, which I still don't get, why is it Renji? And I mean, again, the fact that Uryu ain't there, which obviously, like, I can almost say for certain that this fight ain't over. Uryu ain't there with his Game Shark. He's not there yet. Also, Aizen's Bankai. I'm almost certain that at some point Kubo's gonna show that Bankai, which let's backtrack a second. When did Aizen get his sword back? Because remember, it crumbled or it went inside of him or whatever, so I'm kind of curious, when was it that he got his sword back? Was he able to get it back the entire time? So that's something as well that kind of makes me wonder, or he never had a sword to begin with, because in the chapter, the sword seemingly cracked, but who's to say that that's not under the illusion the entire time? So basically, Aizen fused with his sword, and he can use his ability at will. All you gotta do is look at Aizen. Like, we could possibly assume, because again, everything is just a mindfuck, but we could assume that he really didn't have a sword to begin with, and all of that was bullshit, and he was tricking him so that Ichigo could come with the slash and, you know, basically cut the motherfucker in half. And I mean, people are complaining as well about, oh, it's Getsuga Tensho, come on. I mean, that's his fucking Rasengan, that's his Kamehameha, so it's fitting for that, honestly. Like, the complaints that I'm seeing from people, the only one that I'll say is legit is that Yhwach should have seen this coming, which again, this fight ain't over. Uryu ain't come yet with the little arrow and shit like that. We haven't seen Aizen's Bankai. Ichigo, I mean, using a small Getsuga Tensho, you know, finishing cutting him in half, it just doesn't feel like this is the end, and it's more than likely not. I will be dead shocked if Uryu shows up with that little arrow and he's like, oh, well, this is awkward. I don't have anything to do with this. Okay, later, dudes. So yeah, this fight is gonna keep going, which makes me once again say that this was an absolutely amazing chapter of Bleach. This isn't the end. Bach is gonna say, yo, I told you I can see the future. 10 out of 10 for this bad boy. 11 out of 10 for this bad boy. One of the best battle chapters of Bleach in the entire series. I can't get over it. I can't get over seeing Aizen tricking the fuck out of a god, which showcases yet again the badassery of Aizen, why everybody loves Aizen, and why Aizen is just critically acclaimed as one of the best Bleach characters in general, and the choreography of this fight and everything, like limbs losing left and right. I think one of the things you gotta look at Bach is, like, you're supposed to be this very, very intelligent guy. You have these godlike powers. How weren't you, like, catching on? Or maybe, again, he was catching on the entire time and he was letting it go because he could see the future. In order to get to the path that he wanted to get to, he had to allow these events to occur, because it's like, you know that you just cut off Renji's arm, so why is Ichigo without an arm? And then he even said, oh, I'll take your arm now. It's kind of like, Bach, are you blind? Like, why didn't you see this? But let me know what you guys think about all this. First of all, what do you think about all the trickery? Do you think that it's just that Bach was allowing all these events to occur to get to the path that he wanted? Do you think that there's a possibility that something bigger would come out? I mean, to be honest with you, I do want Bach to just be the final villain. I don't want the Soul King to come out of Bach's ass on some Kagyo Tsutsuki to Madara shit, but like, what do you think is going to happen from here on out to escalate the situation? If this is indeed not the end of the fight, there's still going to be more. Uryu still has his arrow. We haven't seen Aizen's Bankai. That slash, whatever, it was a cool slash, but that's not how you finish the final villain. What do you think is going to happen next? Is Bach going to get some sort of like regenerative powers, and like, Ichigo's going to be too worn out, Renji's worn out, Aizen's impaled and, you know, with one arm at this point? Like, do you think that's the escalation? Is that they're so tired and Bach is going to regenerate, or is there something even further? I mean, again, if you see my top 10 mysteries in Bleach that are unanswered yet video, which definitely you should check it out, I have some, you know, interesting stuff in there, you would see that is like, well, we still don't know about the Soul King and shit like that. This would be a great opportunity, whether the Soul King comes out and he tries to empower Bach, maybe all of this was bullshit this entire time, or there's more powers. Like, what do you think is going to happen to escalate this in order to possibly push Aizen to use his Bankai, or for Uryu to have to use that arrow, or for Ichigo to have to use something a lot stronger than a Getsuga Tensho? And your overall thoughts of the chapter, did you think it was as amazing as I felt it was? Honestly, I felt it was phenomenal and a great, nice piece to the ending of Bleach. I'm so glad that Kubo is going out swinging, using Hado 99 Ketos and shit like that. It was just, I can't stress it enough, really fucking amazing chapter for Bleach. And were you tricked the entire time? Were you kind of like off balance with seeing Ichigo's missing a limb when he never got it cut off, and then Aizen jumping in front of Renji? Were you just puzzled as fuck, or were you catching on that Aizen was using his illusion? And also, one more question, do you think that Aizen's sword was an illusion the entire time, and the Shikai, because remember, his sword, it broke apart or it fused inside of him or whatever the hell happened to him? Do you think that the ability is just inside of Aizen, and if you look at Aizen, he can activate a Shikai? And just your overall thoughts of all this. Honestly, phenomenal stuff. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And I'm so glad to say, in the last few chapters of Bleach, we get an epic one and a crazy one like this one.